Hey there, Chris from the Old Man Cycling Show. Welcome to the 2024 Easton Twilight Crit. This is my first crit race of the season. This one was hard, so we're going right from the get-go here. It takes my head unit a little bit of time to come on, but this is a great course. I love this course. Now, the past 2 years doing this race, I've gotten pulled both times. So in this race, I'll just give you a little heads up if you didn't really pay attention to the title. There were 59 starters. There were 29 finishers. So 30 people got pulled during this race. It is a hard pace from the get-go. But again, I really like this course. It's semi-technical. There's some good turns in it. This is the little bit of a downhill. That sewer grate that I just ran over, I hit that every lap. I tried to avoid it every lap. I hit it every lap. Now this turn here is a nice one. This is like a 70-degree turn, so it's actually pretty sharp, comes back on itself. Now this is the long straightaway. So here you know you're going to barrel down the straightaway. This is probably the fastest part of the course. Then we'll make a left-hand turn and come back up to the start-finish. So all in all, there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish turns on this course. I think that's what they said, 6-ish turns. So now we make a little turn here. We're still on lap 1. This is a 35-minute race. This is coming up. This is just a slight little drag. It's not much. I mean, it might be 3% at most, but it's it's enough that after you do it multiple times, you start to feel it, especially when you're trying to chase to get back on. So you can see, like, my start position, this was one of those things, the earlier you registered, the better your start position was, which was really helpful to me, but I didn't take advantage of it. I had it, I don't know, I just didn't start hard enough. I was in the 5th row, but I immediately got passed by a lot of people. But that's okay. I started doing what I need to do. So this is the second lap. Just sort of trying to settle into a steady rhythm. It's really hard to do. It's to settle in a steady rhythm. That is because coming down this turn. I mean, this bottom turn, it's not tough. I mean, if you thank you to Steve K for the coaching. But if you weight your outside leg and your inside arm, you can cut that turn really tight and not have to brake. But about, I'd say, 60% of people were touching their brakes coming into that corner. And you'll see as the race goes on, I would just stop doing that. I would just, come through that turn at full speed. So again, coming down the fastest part of the course here, coming back around to the start finish. Now pay attention on this one. Watch the right-hand side of the screen. I don't have the race video turned up, but you can hear right now they're calling for a preem on this lap. Well, actually, you can't hear it because I have the race video turned off. But watch the right-hand side of the screen here. This lap's going to be a preem. And, I'm in a good position. And oh, sorry, it wasn't this lap. Next lap. Sorry. Little spoiler alert. Pay attention on the next lap. So this is still, I believe this is, that might have been the second lap. That's why. Never mind. I'm thinking to myself. That's a horrible thing to do. Anyway, pay attention to the next lap. So again, we're coming down through these turns. These turns were not, for me, I love them. I love a technical course. I like the turns. I hit that grade again. I like the turns. I like coming into here. And again, if you're weighted right, like you see if people are slowing down, like I'm getting right up on them, then you got to sprint out of the turn every time. You don't necessarily have to do that. You can carry your speed through that turn. It's really not that horrible, but some people are comfortable with it, some aren't. But that's okay. So now again, we're coming back down at the bottom of the course. This is right along Larry Holmes Boulevard. Larry Holmes is a local Easton guy, the boxer, for those that don't know. All right, so now this is where you want to pay attention. So now we're coming back up the hill, and if you were able to hear the race announcer, they'd be calling that this lap's a preem, which basically means that the first one back around to the start line on this lap is going to get a $25 prize. Now watch the right-hand side of the screen up here, and boom! All of a sudden, a couple people went out, and that right there, this is a learning moment for me. So that right there disrupted the race bad. and now somebody comes up and starts yelling, "It's a neutral lap, it's a neutral lap." But it's not a neutral lap. So when they started yelling it's a neutral lap, a lot of people started slowing down, speeding up, and the race really got blown to smithereens at that point, because you'll watch my watts. My watts good to nothing. Which, by the way, if you see the numbers on the bottom, the leftmost column, that bottom power is my current power. Of course, my RPMs. The rightmost column, the middle power, is my 30-second average. So what happens here, when you get a neutral lap, what a neutral lap means is that you can't pass the pace car. We aren't anywhere near the pace car, and you see like guys are still blowing it up and going. Other people were slowing down. So I just didn't understand what the neutral lap meant. So now I've got to really try to work to catch back on. Because my goal, like I said at the beginning, my goal this race was to not get pulled. That was my whole goal. I I didn't have any grandiose plans of finishing high up. I mean, after all, this is the 40-plus race. I'm a little bit older than that. Some of these guys were real hitters. I mean, the guy, you'll see later on, the first, second, third, and fourth riders lapped the field. But we'll get more into that as we go on. So now, there's a gap here, right? And I got to get back on. I got to get back onto this pack, because I can't ride out by myself. This is sort of where you blow up. So I made the decision. Hey, I got to go. I got to get on these guys, because if I don't get on them, I will definitely get pulled. Because this is not a course or a race you can ride by yourself. You need the wind. You need the benefits of drafting. Those types of things. Now the good news here is you can see I can fly around the corners. I have nobody braking in front of me. Hit that grade again. I sort of was kidding to myself in racing, yeah, you're trying to miss it every time, but you hit it every time. Try to hit it and you'll probably miss it. So anyway, came around the corner just fine, and now we're coming into the straightaway, and you can see I'm putting out a fair amount of power to try to get back up to these guys, and fortunately these guys all settled down too. So it was at that point I'm I blew a big sigh of relief and just said, okay, we're back in. We've got a group here, and this was a good thing, because now I can catch my breath a little bit, and I don't have to worry about trying to chase back on. So the rest parts are really on that back straight where you come through those turns and come around the corners. You can catch your breath a little bit. This is probably the hardest part right here, is coming up this hill, because everybody sort of goes for it. But it is a really fun race. So what I was trying to explain earlier before I got into this is the way these races work is this is a timed race. It's 35 minutes. So what they'll do is they'll take the average time of your first 3 or 4 laps, right? And let's just say, make up a number. Just say that they average out that your lap takes 2 minutes, right? And then what they'll do is they'll take those number of laps that you did. So let's say you did 4 laps and they took the average time of 2 minutes, so it was 8 minutes. So subtract 8 from the 35 minutes of the start time, and then divide 2 into that 27. And that would be roughly 13. So they'll say you have 13 more laps to go, if that makes sense. So timed races, it's not a set distance. It's really based on your lap time, as opposed to coming out and saying, okay, you're going to do a 20-mile race. So, and like I said, fortunately or unfortunately, there were 2 guys that immediately went off the front, and they were just hammering. They were going for all they were worth. So you can see we're in this group, and the group's moving along pretty good. And I did talk to some people afterwards. They had already started pulling people by this point. I think that neutral lap and the crash really screwed things up. Like I said, I wasn't aware that the neutral lap meant that you don't pass the pace car. You just everybody sort of sat up. Well, not everybody. A lot of people sort of sat up, and just gaps open up everywhere. Now that I know that, if it happens again and I hear there's a neutral lap, you just keep racing. You keep going until if you get to the pace car, you can't pass it, right? Because the whole idea is the pace car will slow you down if there's still debris on the road or people on the road, or they have to bring an ambulance on the road or anything like that. Now, fortunately, I did talk to some of the ambulance crew after the race. They said that nobody was seriously hurt in that crash, some scrapes, some bruises. It was mostly bike damage, which is a good thing. Not exactly sure how it happened. I think, they might, if you look at the bottoms of the gates, there's like these little stanchion supports that stick out. I think somebody might have hit one of them. But I don't know why they were that far to the side of the road. They were all the way over against the right barrier, and I don't understand. I wasn't there. I was a little behind. I didn't see it happen in real time. I did see the net effect, but I didn't see a reason for somebody to have to be over on that side of the road that close to the barriers. But anyway, so now we're sort of settled in. I forget what lap we're on. Maybe we're on 5 or 6. I don't know. But so the person in the Bigfoot kit right in front of me, that's Matt. I ride with Matt a lot at Great Valley. I think Ron Short is the guy pulling at the front of this little group. So we're just we're making progress. We're sticking together. As the race goes on, it was good that we're sticking together, because as the race goes on, the referee, the official, as we get up here by the stop line, would keep telling us to stay together. And I believe the fact that we stayed together is what allowed us to stay in a race, because normally if you're going to get lapped or you're going to interfere with the leaders of the race, they'll pull you. But they let us stay in the race, and when we eventually did get lapped, the referee was yelling at us, just hold your position on the road. It means don't swing, don't swerve, don't do anything, because the leaders are going to come by and pass you. So that'll happen in a little bit, but we're coming through, and now it's sort of settled into a pretty good rhythm. Let's hit the grade again. I missed it that time. Bummer. Okay, so again, coming down to this turn, I really like this turn. It's probably my favorite turn on the course, right? Because you can see, like, you can just fly through that thing. It's pretty cool. But anyway, getting back to the race itself, it was a good race. Now there's Ron. Ron had been at the front for a couple laps, and I figured, okay, well, I'll go, because I wanted to try to bring us up to these guys. Again, wanted to stay with a group, right? I think the bigger group you have, A, the easier it is to ride, right? Because you get more draft, and B, the harder it's going to be for them to take the whole group out. Not saying they won't, but the harder it'll be for them to do that. So now we're back, coming up the little climb, still chasing up to these guys. And I don't know, I guess, okay, so somebody did come by me. So, I closed a little bit, somebody else came by. Now I think I jumped to go get on this guy and sort of, bring it back together, which looks like we were successful doing that. So now we're back to a little bit bigger group, which is a good thing. So this event in itself, so this starts earlier in the day, but they have the pro women's and the pro men's race at night under lights. Like, they have these big portable lights they put out, and it's really, really pretty cool. Like, I didn't stay for that, but I did watch. It was live streamed on YouTube, so you can probably go find it, Easton Twilight Crit 2024, and you can see the men's and women's pro race. Which was, I'll tell you what, they were flying. Now you see right there, like, I took that inside line. The guy that was right ahead of me, he sort of drifted out, and I was able to easily, zoom around him and keep my speed high coming through here. So again, this is the fast part of the race. You can see, we're doing 26, 27 miles an hour. We've got about, probably at this point, we probably have about another 20 minutes to go. Like I said, it was a 35-minute race. We'll see if we come up the start finish, if they have the lap count up now. The lap count will be on the left side. The elapsed time for the race will be on the right side. It's probably going to be hard to see because I'm riding sort of into the sun. Don't know if the camera angle will catch it right, but we'll see. Yeah, they did have it up there, but I didn't see what it said. So they do have the lap count up there now. I'm just going by the time on the video. But again, like this was a good experience for me. Like there were a couple times where some little gaps would open up to the guy in front of me, and I had to fight through to close it down. Was happy. I was happy with hanging in there. I had told my wife when I was leaving, I said my goal for today is really to make it to the end and not hear that whistle blowing at me to get off the course. So again, here you see I came right inside. Got 3 guys on that one. Again, if you take Steve K's approach to cornering, you can go. And also I think the other good thing is I felt really good because I had a new set of tires on. I don't get sponsored by anybody or sponsored for anything, but I run the Continental GP 5000 TRSs. They are without a doubt the best tire. They have this black chili compound, which is really, really nice. I mean, I take my bike out and those tires hold the road. I can go around any corners or anything I want, and I will give up before the bike will. I'll sort of chicken out and be like, I'm going too hard. So again, I'm at the front trying to jump up to the guys ahead of us. I don't think I was successful in this one. I think I ended up, coming around this corner like, yeah, this isn't gonna happen. And I think you'll see somebody come around shortly and take up the charge. Although I have to say, on this course, it was fun being in the front because you go through these corners as hard as you wanted. So I did sort of enjoy that. At the same point in time, it does take a lot out of you because you don't get any benefits of the draft. And yep, I got the grade. Thank you. So now coming around this corner, now since I'm able to just go, like you can see, I can just hold that line and fly around that corner and really not lose any speed whatsoever. So still trying to get these guys. At some point, I think I was flicking my elbow, and I looked, and I had actually had a little gap on the guys behind me, and I knew I wasn't going to catch the guys in front of me by myself, so I'm sort of like stuck in no man's land. And then pretty soon, you'll see here, some guys are going to come up, and we're going to get back together. And I do believe eventually we get back up to these 2 guys. So I got to take a little sip of my root beer here. So coming back up the start finish line. Well, now I guess I'll just call it the finish line because we already started. Yeah, so here comes a couple guys through, and there's Matt again. I think Ron is, I think, right behind me at this point. And now we're going to go up and with these guys coming up, we're going to go up and try to catch these guys. Again, this is a hard race, but it's a cool course. It's I want to say it's like 0.7 of a mile, so it's a short lap, and I think that's why in this particular race you can get lapped if you got some younger guys that obviously have a lot more power than I do. It's a shorter course, so they can get around it quicker, which tends to allow them to lap you, obviously. So I haven't seen it happen yet, but I think it's coming up pretty soon. We're just over halfway done, and this is where in my mind I'm saying, okay, well, we got halfway through, so I still feel pretty good. Still have a lot of energy in the tank. I feel like, okay, maybe there's a chance if we can stay together, maybe there's a chance we're going to make it to the finish. So going through again, and these turns are pretty cool. It's like a little chicane thing. You can almost take a straight line, and then you get to this turn. All right, so this guy, decided he was going to jump. So, see if we can get up to him. Again, I love being in the front on these turns unencumbered, but at the same time, it takes a lot out of you. For those that ride, the draft is a big thing. I've really been working on trying to stay in a draft more, especially like at the Great Valley practice crits and everything. But there's just certain times where, like here, we got back up to these guys. There's certain times where you just have to go do things, so that's fine. But now here, I'm not sure why I came around that guy. That was silly. I should have just sat in. But anyway, live and learn. That's why I like watching these things after I'm done. But you can see, even after coming around that guy, like I'm not throwing out serious power. Like I came around that guy and I sort of moved over hoping somebody was going to follow me around. Unfortunately, they didn't. And that's one of the things, like, you just don't know. Like if you have a team in there, it's easier to work with your teammates. But we were all. I don't think there might have been 2 active yards guys in this group. I can't remember, but it was for the most part it was all just single riders. So it's hard to really get that. So now when they came by me, now it's like, okay, now we got to chase back on to get up to them, which now we're in the fast part of the course. I didn't feel too concerned about getting back to these guys. Like I thought, okay, yeah, we'll get back there. But as I was saying, like it wasn't a very organized working group. Like people would come to the front and just ride there, and then if you flicked your elbow, which is the sign that you want somebody else to come through. Sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. It was really anybody's guess as to what was going to happen. And you see, like that was a good line when I come through that corner like that, where I got that fence on the side and sort of cut the apex. That's a good line. So you would swing to the right. Yeah, this guy came through. This guy was actually pretty good. He really was strong, helped close down a lot of things. So every time I would see him come by, I'd make sure this is one of the active yards guys. Not sure which one. I know a bunch of those guys, but I don't know this guy by name. But he was strong. He definitely did a great amount of work. So you got one. So there were 2 guys jumped away. There's 1 guy still up there. The other one, we just passed. Again, coming up to the finish line here. Like I said, this grade isn't bad, but it does wear on you after doing it. I think we ended up doing. I don't even know. I think we ended up doing maybe 20 laps, something along that. I should have put the distance in the stats there next time, because I don't want to have to redo this. But now we're getting back, so now you can see, like, everybody was still sort of together. There's 1 guy off the front of this little group. You can just see him going around the corner, but we're going to get back to him on the straightaway. We got a pretty good head of steam going. We got back to the guy. That was the guy in the white shirt. He was the one that was out ahead. So now's where, if we were if we were really cooperating and working together, you'd see the guy on the front. He would drop back. The next guy would take over for a little bit. He would drop back. The guy ahead of me would take over. He would drop back. You just would sort of rotate. Sometimes we did a little bit, but for the most part, we really didn't. So, unfortunate, but that's the way it goes sometimes. You can see, like, it's, heart rate Yeah, that's pretty good for my heart rate, 167. Like you know, I max out like at about 175, 180. So, and here comes Ron. Ron's back up. Ron did a lot of work on the first couple laps. I think he was on the front for probably 2 laps by himself for the 2 full laps. So Ron did a really strong job. I like riding with Ron. He's someone that I try to stick with because he's quick. He takes very good lines. He's a really good bike handler. So he's another one of the people. Like I've gotten to know quite a few people. Matt's another good bike handler, another strong rider. I've gotten to know the same people from all the same races that over the years, and you get to know which ones you're very comfortable riding with, and those are the wheels you try to latch onto and you try to stay on. But again, we're in. I think we probably have like 10 guys in this group. But as you can see, you don't see anybody ahead of us right now, and there's definitely, like I said, there's definitely other people on the road. So we got when that neutral lap happened, a group of us got blown apart. The guys at the front kept going, and I think it's around here somewhere that you're gonna the officials saying to stay together because we do eventually get lapped. I'm not exactly sure where, but you're gonna see 2 guys come by us, and they're gonna be coming by us at a pretty good clip, and there's not even enough time to say hi and bye. And like I said, this is 40 plus cats 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these are some really strong riders. That number of years age difference between an old man like me and these 40-year-olds makes a big difference. But I really like the rush of racing. I love the adrenaline. I like the competition. And it's a challenge, and that keeps you going back for more. So coming in the corner again, that's a really good corner. Ron had a really nice line on it, and Ron's really good at sprinting out of corners. Like he'll come around a corner and just jump on it, which is very controlled but very smooth. So we're still making our way. Got about I'd say there's roughly like maybe 9 minutes left in the race, something like that. We're coming up on about the 28-minute mark, and it's a 35-minute race, and they really have to stick to their schedule because they have a full set of races planned, and they need to make sure they keep it on schedule so that the races go off on time. Again, going through the little chicane, and this is really cool. Like they do a nice job. They shut down this little downtown square. The Crayon, not Crown, Crayon. My wife always busts on me for saying that. Factory is like right around the one spot. All the restaurants were open. They had outdoors. You can see all the little tents there. That's all outdoor seating at the restaurants. That's a really good vantage point where they were. You get to see all the riders come by and go down this hill and come into this turn. So it's really a nice event. Weather was perfect for us. Just a spoiler alert, when the men's pro race started, there was a pop-up thunderstorm and they just got drenched for like 2 laps, which was really unfortunate. But I highly recommend, if you can, go watch that race on YouTube. The women's race was really exciting too. The women's pro race. Really exciting finish on that one. So we're still going along here. Now I would have thought by now we would have seen the 2 guys that were passing us. I would have thought they would have passed us by now. And that's what I was worried about. When they passed us, I'm like, oh, we're going to get pulled, right? Fortunately we didn't, because I think, as I said earlier, we had a group of people with us. And having that group really kept us together. So now Ron jumped, I think, yeah. So I think I want to get up to that group up there. Yeah, Matt's closing it down, which is good. There's my active yards buddy, so where he goes, I go. And there's Ron. And I decided it was my turn to get on these two guys' wheels. So let's see if I'm smart here. Or do I go around them? Hey, look at that. I learned my lesson. I just sort of sit here for a little bit. And now in my head I'm thinking, okay, we're in good shape. I might actually finish this race. So I forget. So the weird thing was they had us, because they had based the laps on the front runners. At one point they had us with 4 laps to go, and then the next time around was the bell lap. And I think that's really because of, like I said, it was. I can't stress enough how chaotic it was when that crash happened. And this group of people that I'm with now, everybody got confused, and nobody really was going, while the people at the front were still going because they were well past the crash. So you see that turn, like I just cut inside because that guy went really wide. So that was a really good one, and I carried full speed out of that turn, which I really liked doing. But getting back to the crash, so we were sort of in no man's land, and I think the fact again that we had a good group with us kept us in the race. Otherwise, I suspect that if we were just had like one guy or two guys, we definitely would have gotten pulled. But the fact that, as I said at the beginning, 59 started, and as it turns out, 29 finished. If they would have taken us out, that's another 10 that wouldn't have finished. So they would have basically had 19 out of 59 finish. Now, again, it is a really difficult race. You're racing with, again, Cat 1, 2, 3, and 4s, 40 years old and older. Strong guys in here. So, I was pretty happy with my showing. And you see my reaction was pretty good when these guys came past me. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let them pass me, but I'm gonna get right back on. So I was happy with that. I was happy that I was able to go, recover, go, get back on the wheels. There you go, hit my grade again. I think I'll go back there sometime and put my name on that grade. I hit it almost every time, so I might as well enjoy it, get something from it. It really wasn't that bad too. At the first year I did it, there was like a hole right in front of it, which really made it a pain. But now they did some road work on that road, and it's pretty smooth actually. It's just a little lip on it that you hit, but nothing terrible. Like as long as you're not coming sideways into it or leaning over, you can go straight over it. So now I think we're getting pretty close to the end. This might have been a spot where, like I said, that the lap counter had shown 4 laps, and then all of a sudden, we come around and it's like bell lap, and you're like, huh? You know, so yeah, right there I just saw it. It said 4. So I think the next lap we're going to come around, and that 4 is going to be a 1. You know, and they're going to say, hey, you know, this is your guys' last lap. So we actually finished. This group finished before the finishers, if that makes sense, right? Because what they were doing was they were keeping the top guys out there because they were far enough ahead that the lap counter for them was going to be consistent, right? So I think they have, because we were a lap behind, I think they have 2 laps to go when they get through that finish line this time. Like I said, it's hard to explain. I'm still trying to work it out in my head, but you know, effectively they dropped our laps so we would all finish around the same time. So we'll see if we come back this time and see if we can catch the lap counter, and I believe it's going to say 1. Coming up the main drag again. All right, let's see if we can see it here. Yeah, it says 1. So now, you know, it went from 4. This is the last lap now. So all of a sudden it's like, okay. So 2 things happen. Number 1, I'm like, all right, well, I'm not a sprinter, so I'm not going to sprint. And number 2, I'm gonna finish this race and not be pulled. So, you know, I'm smiling on the inside, huffing and puffing for all I'm worth. But, you know, just a really, really satisfying moment for me, because the past 2 years, like I said, I got pulled pretty early on. So this to me this was a good accomplishment. You know, I'm happy I stayed with these guys. We rode pretty well together, strong bunch. Now you can see, you know, people are picking up, because this is the last lap. Like we're headed for home. And as I said, I don't have any sprint to speak of. So, you know, at this point, I'm just like, okay, we'll get back to the main drag, and I'm just gonna ride. You know, I'm gonna ride as hard as I can. You can see some guys are jumping. You know, I try to stay on the last wheel, which I did an okay job of that. And now we're coming up the home stretch here. And let's see, I'll give you the spoiler alert in 1 second here. So overall, I finished in 27th place out of the 29 finishers. Like I said, 30 people were dropped. Great race. I'm happy that I finished. It didn't get pulled. We're about to end the video here. So thanks for watching. Subscribe and like. And this is Chris from the Old Man Cycling Show saying peace. Hope you enjoyed the video.
Hey, we're done, right?